Greetings, this is the Nihilistic Snake, and I'm ready for action. I'm gonna move away from politics for a while because, quite frankly, I have little else to talk about, and I want to try and fix that if I want my channel to grow. That's why this time we're tackling Hollywood Gad. For anyone unaware of this jackass, he's a movie reviewer and a conspiracy theorist, not even kidding, who just about is a contrarian and rants on almost every executive decision down in Hollywood. His channel is a gold mine of material, but today I'm gonna brand his video about on how to save the DC Extended Universe. Yeah, I'm sure he'd be an expert on that. So with all that out of the way, let's get this show on the road.
Every so often, I have to make a video and restate and repeat what I've been saying for so long.
Yeah, buddy, you ever heard of a saying that goes, repeating the same action and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity? That's kind of applicable to you right now. I mean, I know you're batshit insane, but if you have to keep telling people something over and over again and they refuse to listen, it's probably a good idea to take that to mean whatever you're preaching is fucking retarded.
The reason, before they even started filming, before they even casted the actors, okay, to play the characters, the moment they announced that Zack Snyder was going to be the director of anything to do with the Justice League, or Man of Steel even, or a Batman versus Superman, or see, for me,
dude, learn to script your videos. You abandon 2 sentences twice in 1 minute, and you dragged on for no good reason. Write down what you have to say, so that way we, the watchers, are likely to stay engaged.
If you look at all the films produced so far in the DC Extended Universe, the worst are the ones involving Zack Snyder.
And guess what? He no longer works with the DCEU, so it seems like your rambling here is pointless since Warner Brothers is already sorting itself out. By the way, Zack Snyder getting canned from the DCEU happened a month prior to Hollywood Gad's video coming out, so it's on him for not looking into anything.
Supposedly, if we're to believe this, okay, Christopher Nolan picked Zack Snyder for director. Now, come on. I don't agree with it, but a lot of people consider Christopher Nolan the modern-day Stanley Kubrick. I think that's bullshit. Check my previous video if you want to know who I think is the modern-day. If we're going to actually call somebody the modern-day Stanley Kubrick.
No one cares. Get to the point.
But, so I wonder, if this is the Stanley Kubrick of modern times, according to some so-called fans, how could he pick and choose Zack Snyder for directing the Justice League film?
Probably because Zack worked on well-received comic movies like Watchmen and the 300 movies. When you have a track record like that, it only makes sense that the producers and directors of CBMs would have their eyes on you. And sure, Batman vs. Superman and Justice League were nothing to write home about, but it's not like Zack had no credibility to his name. Whether you like his work or not is irrelevant. He was seen as a good fit for the movies given his past projects.
Poor Joss Whedon had to take this mess of a movie that Zack Snyder had directed so far and tried to fill in the gaps and tried to make it watchable, because it just fucking isn't watchable.
Joss Whedon didn't have all that much to do with the Justice League. The biggest role he had was directing only part of the post-credit scene. Everything else he did in the movie was negligible. With or without him, it would have tanked. Especially since this is the guy that destroyed Black Widow's character in Age of Ultron by making her infertile for some bullshit reason that I can only chalk to real feminine struggles. Barring that, you didn't even mention what scenes he had to do with. You know it's possible to explain parts of a movie without spoiling it, right?
Green is not a creative color.
Put Zack Snyder in a producer capacity. Put him in executive producer capacity. Just let him sign off on shit. But do not, for the sake of all that is holy and just, continue to let Zack Snyder direct these films. He cannot direct these movies. I think he thinks he can. Okay? But Zack Snyder fucked up the one thing that, if you look at it, could never be fucked up. You had to get into it and fuck up on purpose to get the Watchmen wrong. Watchmen should never have been made. Okay? But the fact that Zack Snyder actually attempted to make a film based on that book still confounds the living fuck out of me.
Okay, what exactly was wrong with Watchmen? Is it the long runtime? Is it the fact that it was too violent? Is it because there were some slight inconsistencies between the movie and the graphic novel? Is it because you didn't want to see a movie that was largely grounded in reality, spare Dr. Manhattan? These are pretty valid critiques. You can't just go on this tirade about how Watchmen is a bad movie without explaining just a little bit how it failed. That's how I decide not to care about what you say.
The word on the street is, when the master in Hollywood wants you to do something, you better do it or your career's over. That's what I hear. But listen, man. If you're fucked up with Watchmen, which originally, according to the creator, Alan Moore, he was going to use the DC characters. But DC said, hell no, no, you can't use our characters for something like that. So they had to use characters from back in the day, little known characters. Some of them are based off, matter of fact, he had to create characters based on older characters known in the comics back in the day. Loosely based. But even still, there are characters in Watchmen who are loosely based on the DC characters we know and love.
And of course, I won't give examples.
Up Watchmen. All you had to do with Watchmen was follow the book. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking visually. You see, y'all get fooled with visuals all the time. It's not about the visuals all the time. You have to do you had to do the book the way the book was done.
Alright, I guess your issue is the inconsistencies between the movie and the graphic novel. The question still remains. Name one instance of this. I firmly believe the more I ask this, the more I'll get somewhere with these conjectured statement types.
He has to do shit up his alley, as I said before. Okay? He has to do shit that we know he can do. Crap like 300. Yeah, that's right. Frank Miller's crap with 300. Frank Miller loved him? Hey, Frank Miller! Why don't you let Zachy Boy direct more of your crap? Hard Boiled, for instance. I'm surprised you didn't have Zachy Boy direct. I'm surprised Zach didn't direct the fucking Sin City. I appreciate the fact that he didn't direct that, but he might as well make up some new fucking shit for Zack Snyder, Frank Miller. You see, because he handled Frank Miller 300, they actually thought that Zack Snyder could handle Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, and that's not the case.
Can you really blame them for thinking that, though? 300 was one of the most popular movies of 2007. The critics weren't too on board with it because people weren't as blasé about violence as they are now, and even then they could still be pretty touchy. But the movie raked in the big bucks. It made $456 million against a $65 million budget. Clearly Zack had a draw. You even said it yourself that these directors are in the packet of the industries and are looked at as moneymakers most of the time, and yet somehow you're surprised at Zack directing the DCU.
That's not the case, and I could have told you, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist, I could have told you this back in 2009, after the debacle, after the failure of Watchmen. Zack Snyder, in my opinion, should be cut completely, pay him off to just go away.
Hey, remember when you said this?
Put Zack Snyder in a producer capacity. Put him in executive producer capacity. Just let him sign off on shit.
We were so young.
3 out of your 5 movies failed. 2 of them were successes. And we're still waiting for Aquafag's film, the Flash movie, and the Cyborg movie. You can still get things on the right track, WB. But you must remove Zack Snyder from directing. Make him a producer. Make him a visual consultant. Make him an executive producer. Me personally, I would get rid of him completely. But if you have to keep him on, okay, put him in those positions. Get him out of directing.
Either you want him around or you don't. Stick with the fucking side already. I'm sick of you contradicting yourself so much.
I know what you're saying. He's a recognizable name, and he's making us money. The movies still make money no matter what. But the legacy of these films they're already up there with the prequel films. George Lucas. That's right. Already this franchise is up there with the Star Wars prequels.
My god, even in a video about DC, he still manages to piss about Star Wars. You really are a broken record, ain't ya? Anyway, his video's basically over. Final thoughts, this may have only been an 11-minute video, but it felt like an eternity. It was irritating to hear a Hollywood gad ramble about the same thing over and over, and screw up his line of thought due to a lack of script. His attitude borders full-on sanctimony, when in reality he has no idea what's good for the future of the DCEU. I don't have any real advice for him because I know for a fucking fact he's not gonna listen to me, but for any aspiring ranters out there, this is the benchmark of what your rant should never be like. Thanks for watching, this is the Nihilistic Snake slithering out of here. Been a while since I made one of these, wouldn't you say? So yeah, I'm gonna be doing a two-shot commentary on Space Guru 5. The video I'm hitting is his commentary on Smartass Burb, aka Super Funny Bros. Now I know the video is a few months old and the situation is kind of irrelevant now, but I'm not here to resurrect old drama. I'm here to point out a couple of issues that I honestly just can't let go of. Also, I'm gonna say that Space Guru's video really isn't all that bad, it's just that these 2 points here really ground my gears.